In my video on laying sheet vinyl, I covered the floor of a room with one sheet of sheet vinyl. Occasionally, however, one sheet's not going to be enough, and you're going to need multiple sheets. In this room, I'm going to need multiple sheets to cover my floor. This brings up some problems. The first problem is matching the patterns on the sheet vinyl. The second problem is making a seamless join between the two sheets of vinyl. To solve the first problem of matching the patterns, I laid one sheet of sheet vinyl and adhered it to the floor. Once it was firm, I put the second sheet of sheet vinyl down and adjusted it so that the patterns matched up. Then I adhered the second piece of sheet vinyl to the floor. So now the patterns match pretty well. The final problem I have is the seamless join. One way I can think of to make the seam as invisible as possible is to cut along the existing lines of the sheet vinyl. This way, however, will require a lot of overlap and it will necessitate a lot of waste. Another way is to cut directly across the sheet of vinyl. This will reduce a lot of waste, but it will also leave a noticeable line. Since I don't have a lot of sheet vinyl to waste, I'm not going to do the first option. I'm going to cut directly across the sheet of vinyl. So what I did was I left a little overlap of maybe 1/8 of an inch between the two sheets of vinyl. Then what I'm going to do is take a razor knife and cut directly across the line so that the two pieces join up. If I make any mistake here, the defect will show through on the seam, so I'm only cutting about 1 inch at a time. Now that I've finished trimming the two sections, I'm going to put some adhesive on them to hold them to the floor. In a previous video I mentioned it's not necessary to use adhesive except when joining two pieces of vinyl or if one has baseboards and base shoes. However, this room has no baseboards or base shoes, so I'm using adhesive around the edges and to join two pieces of vinyl like this. I'm not going to spread adhesive around the entire room because that's not cost effective. So I'm just going to use it around the joints. Using a caulk gun, I'm applying a little bit of adhesive to a scraper, and I'm just applying a very thin layer of adhesive to the concrete underneath the vinyl. I don't want to make it too thick because it'll show up as a bump. Once I have the adhesive down in a thin layer, all I need to do is press the two ends together. To make sure the two ends are level, I'm using a block of wood and just pressing the two ends together. That way it's a lot more even. It's really difficult to get a perfect join between two pieces of vinyl, but I think I did a pretty good job on this one. And if you can find the seam in here, your eyes are better than mine.